It was
Yeah.
very stressful. It was tough.
I'll never forget this one because it's the one I was most like happy about helping you change because it was like literally about to leave sales. And I was like, listen, man, don't fucking give up. Like, it's just the skill set thing, you know?
I think it was in my pretty much my second month. I was number one on the leaderboard, and then I was hitting 10K months.
All right, people. So today we got a student interview. It's one of the first ones I'm gonna be recording. And now it's where I took a student. He was about to literally leave sales. It was dejected, really, and you'll hear from his experience. And essentially took him to a point where he was able to close consistently, got him to about 15K a month, roundabout in about 2 months, also. And you'll hear from his experience. So this isn't going to be one of those interviews where, we just dance around and talk about very surface level shit. Like, no, I'm not here to do that. I'm going to actually break down with him exactly what it took for him to actually change, going from the bottom of the table to the top pretty fucking quickly, right? And how you can basically do the same and what you need to do the same as well. So that's what we're going to cover. I'm going to let him in. We're going to crack on. Okay, guys. So I've got the main man here, Justin. I helped him a few months ago, at the start of the year. So yeah, appreciate you jumping on, my man. How are you
Sure.
doing?
Doing great, bro. Doing great. Awesome
Awesome.
to yeah.
Cool. Now, obviously, in fact, why don't you tell the people like how the hell did we get into contact? Because obviously, I knew you were jumping into sales. I know you were kind of struggling on one of the offers you were on. So yeah, give us like some sort of backstory in terms of like what the situation was when
Yeah, I mean,
we.
ultimately, I mean, I had my own agency. Obviously, I was running the agency for the 5 years that I was doing it. And obviously, I had some, I mean, really, your focus isn't really just on sales when you're running an agency, it's on a few things. So I did get some basic support on sales. So I was in some coaching programs, but it wasn't really like elite level sales. So after that, obviously, wanted to join the high ticket space because I knew that, you could really crush it. I mean, you can get to 10, 20K, 30K months very fast, like faster than any other business model or anything like that. So I thought,
Yeah.
that's like a really cool one to get into. And I thought because I'd had some training, it would be quite easy for me to kind of get straight into it. But then kind of realized pretty quickly on that there's a different level to it when you're selling real high ticket. It's not your agency. You don't really understand the product as well as, someone who built the agency itself and the customer and stuff. So your sales skills have got to be really, really, really high and top niche to kind of close consistently. So obviously I started that off and I was really struggling. I mean, I wasn't closing at all. I think before I found you, I don't even know if I had a
Yeah.
close even at that point. I think I just couldn't actually
I
close. And
remember. I remember. Yeah. Like, because how
yeah,
long were you on that? Just give us some context. Like, so, like, what was the offer?
yeah, it was basically a B2B offer, but it was actually what really made it tricky is I was selling to salespeople. So ultimately, I was selling to financial advisors who are, their whole life is lead gen and sales. That's their whole life is marketing and
Sure.
sales. I really
Yeah.
have fulfillment. So ultimately, these people are super jaded, frustrated. They've heard it all, they've seen it all, they've all been scammed, they've all done hundreds of marketing programs that didn't work. And the offer was basically there was three tiers. There was a top tier, which was a 15K offer, then an 11K offer, and an 8.5K offer. Yeah, and ultimately, I think when I first started, I was really struggling to kind of get them to open up and get them to actually take me seriously and tell me their problems. I think because
Mm,
they burned so much, they were oftentimes not giving me answers. They didn't want to take it seriously.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they didn't see me as an authority, really. I think that was
Right.
the
Yeah.
issue.
And like, and the reason I was able to help you is because I've also, I mean, before I got into sales, I was also there too, like agency experience. Like, you think you know you think you know your shit, and then you basically get your shit, your face, you get slapped on calls. Like, what was that like? Basically, you were on an offer with like 5 reps. Like, what was that like? Like, not closing. Like, what was that for you?
Yeah, it feels a bit like, in a way, you almost feel a bit like embarrassed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you feel a bit embarrassed,
Mm,
and you don't enjoy working because you obviously, we very, especially men in particular, we tribal creatures. We part of the hunters. We don't want to be the guys supposed to be fucking picking berries, bro. You want to be out with the men fucking hunting and killing. And when you're not,
yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
getting on these calls, it's very painful. Obviously, yeah, and you obviously it's a competitive space. You're going to get on calls. The manager's going to ask you what's going on, and
Mm,
if you're not bringing in yeah, you're gonna get fired pretty fast in the high ticket space. So it
yeah.
was
Yeah.
very stressful. It was tough. It was extremely stressful. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember the voice note. I'll never forget this one because it's the one I was most like happy about helping you change because it was like literally about to leave sales. And I was like, listen, man, don't fucking give up. Like, it's just the skill set thing, you know? Yeah, and I guess I took that kind of personal too, because because I mean, you'd seen what I've done for, I don't know, God knows how long. And then it made you think, hey, why not get into high ticket sales? So I took it personally because it's like, oh, if you've got inspiration for me and you're not really seeing results from the space, it's like, oh wow, like what kind of example am I really setting? Do you know what I mean? So that's why I was like, oh, damn, I need to help you. But I guess like, what made you reach out?
So basically, I mean, ultimately, I mean, I actually lived with you for a bit, for a couple, I think a week or two when you were with Gabriel, and I was actually listening to some of your calls. Like sometimes you'd
Oh
actually
yeah,
record calls, and I'd actually go
mm,
outside your room and listen. And
yeah,
I thought it was very interesting because I heard you were asking lots of, because I was expecting like kind of combative, but you're actually just asking questions, and I thought it
mm,
was really interesting. And obviously, I was watching you. I mean, you were doing closing pretty consistently. I thought it was really interesting that your calls were never pressure closes. They were never like you need like it was always you ask questions and the person came to the conclusion themselves. And obviously, as friends with other people you had coached, I knew guys and I knew them personally. I'd met them and I
yeah,
knew that they weren't socially savvy humans. To put it mildly, some of them that you had helped, and I saw how you took some of them to insane levels of closing, like some that were doing over 20K a month, and I was like, okay, you obviously know what you're talking about. And then, yeah, ultimately, it's like you said, when it came down to that voice note, I think it was kind of breaking point where I just hadn't made a sale. I was like, I don't think this space is for me. And I was
mm,
pretty much on the verge of giving up. And then, yeah, it was good to have someone there, to say like, hey, like, don't worry, this does happen.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, to help me back out of that headspace of negativity. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Amazing. And so like then like getting the help, I guess what was the first couple of like calls like for you? Like that experience of like having that personal touch, you know?
Yeah, I think it gave me some structure. Like I knew I was now on a path. Like I think before I felt like I didn't really know what was going on. My sales calls were just kind of going everywhere. I didn't really know what I was missing. And I felt like you got me on a path. So like a straight and narrow path of like, this is where we are, this is where we're trying to get to. So I didn't feel as much as like I'm all over like what's going wrong. I kind of started to feel like, okay, this is the part we're fixing. We're fixing the discovery. We're
Hmm.
then going to fix the pitch. We're then going to fix objection handling. So I started to feel like I really started to get onto something where I was starting to see, like almost like Neo in the Matrix. I was actually starting to see, okay, this is where things are falling apart. This is what's going wrong here. This is why what mistakes I'm making. Whereas before it was a complete guessing game. I was just like, I have no clue. Like this guy, I don't know why I didn't buy it. It was just like it was all random, and it just started giving me something to work towards. So it started getting me on a path. And obviously, yeah, once you start seeing the sales coming in, it's like, yeah, you get more and more into the process, more bought in,
Yeah.
and yeah, the results just get better and better.
Yeah. And I guess even like when you're going through that process, like were your sales managers giving you advice? Like, because I know everyone's got a sales manager and obviously in the high ticket space, but like was my advice different? Like what was that like for you?
Yeah, so what I realized was that my sales manager didn't know what he was talking about at all.
Yeah.
And he was just a guy who had done some closes, but he wasn't an elite level closer. So someone who's closing, if your sales manager, unless they can prove to you that they've closed at least minimum 50%, you can't really take what they say seriously because if you're a 20, a 15, 20, 25% closer and that person's trying to help you, they can only get you to maybe 15%, maybe at most 20%.
Exactly.
Um, so the advice he gave me was just terrible. It was always just like, oh, be a man, just be strong and be powerful. It was just bullshit. Like, to be honest, it was so not helpful
Yeah.
that I was almost like, I had to stop going to the course because like, this is actually poisoning my brain. It's making me a worse
Yeah.
salesperson.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with you actually gave me a structure. Like, look, this is what you're going to, you actually gave me a process. It was like, just do this and you'll get a sale. And I just did it and I got that result. Whereas with him, it was like very woo woo, kind of be a man, be strong, be powerful, all the stuff that I was like, I couldn't use any of the advice he was giving me. Whereas with your stuff, it
Right.
was like, do this. And I did it and I got a result. Do this and I
Yeah.
got a result. So
Yeah.
it was much more structured information. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I think people highlight when learning from me is that like I'm extremely technical. Like you also know me on like as a friend, like on the personal side. So like you kind of I would say like understand that also I'm quite a spiritual person too. Like it's not just all, but like when it comes to sales, like I am like super fucking if you say a word that's even wrong, Like I'm like, whoa, that is gonna get the wrong response. And you know that because your offer, I'd say, is one of the harder offers to sell on. You're speaking to financial advisors that people have been jaded, they're older. So as someone around our age, you have less leeway conversationally to like beat them around. Like a lot of these people in sales, they're just selling to kids. And yes, you can bully them for lack of a better term, right? But so you have to have a more technical, structured approach to basically get them on your side, these more sophisticated people. And yeah, you can't. There's no being yourself doesn't cut it. Like yeah, I can talk about visualization all day, and I love visualization, right? But like you have to be very, very technical with these guys, you know? From your standpoint, what would you say was the biggest thing holding you back from closing? Because you weren't making any sales and was about to get let go of the offer. Like what would you say was the biggest thing you were doing wrong or yeah, in your process?
The biggest thing I was doing wrong in my process, I don't think I had a process. I
Okay.
think that's the biggest thing I was doing wrong is I didn't have a process. I was just, yeah, it was just too random. Like I didn't know what I was doing. Like I,
Right.
honestly, like there's another way to put it. Like I just didn't know what I was doing. Like I was just asking the wrong questions. I wasn't getting down to the bottom of things.
Right.
I didn't know what to ask, how to ask it. So it was just like a random thing. I was just kind of getting on, asking, getting questions and pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, without understanding what was going on in the customer's mind, like
Mm.
their fears.
What's one concept that like stood out? Like what was one obviously there's a lot, right? And I teach a lot, but like what was one concept where you're like, "Oh shit, this is the thing here that could just like change the game for me
Yeah, for me,
outside of the process."
it was like really getting an understanding of the different the archetypes of fear because that was
Okay.
like what you're dealing with the most. And I think that's on any offer, especially with these guys. It was like the different fear types, and that really changed the game for me because before they were listing their fears and concerns, and I didn't really understand it. Whereas then I was picking it up right when I was asking the question. I was like, okay, I can tell straight away this person's got a fear of us, or they've got a fear of themselves, or
Yeah.
they've got a fear. Because sometimes, someone would say something along the lines of like, I don't even know if I could close. And I'd start showing them testimonials of us and speaking about how we like this reputable business, but that's irrelevant. They're dealing with their own personal things. So once I started picking up, like, okay, they've got a fear of themselves. And I
Yeah.
could start propping them up, being like, we're going to help, we're going to show you exactly how to do it and giving them that belief and that certainty that we're going to be there to help them. I started seeing like my closes, it just started
Going up.
skyrocketing after that. Yeah,
I
big
think
time.
I even remember like you closed once and then like you called me once on I remember this one being like fuck like your shit works like I remember that one a lot because yeah I was happy to hear that because I remember before I showed you the fears you were a bit like oh I can't really objection handle. I think as soon as we covered it you were like yeah this makes sense you had that.
Yeah, I think the first time I ever, because I'd never done an objection handle. I mean, even though I'd made so many sales, I'd actually done a lot of revenue. I don't even know how much in my business. I was a 20% closer in my own agency,
Yeah, you
but I,
guys hit 100K months though. It's not some small
yeah,
like
100K months.
business. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, 100K months in my agency.
yeah,
I closed hundreds of people. Like I really had. That's why I actually thought I was actually a good closer,
yeah.
but I'd never objection handled. So whenever someone had said, "Oh, this is a problem," I'd actually give up because I was like, "Oh, that's not a good prospect or whatever." So I think when I
Mm,
started working with you, the first time I did one and actually handled the objection, I think it was a fear objection. It actually blew my mind because I've been doing this for 5 years.
yeah,
Uh, I've been doing sales for 5 years and I actually didn't think it was a real thing. I thought objection handling was just this made up thing that you got to try. Probably not going to get it, and you just let them go. But yeah,
yeah,
when I did that and the guy was in fear and I used your structure and closed him, I was like, okay, shit, this stuff actually is legit.
yeah,
So that was
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
yeah. That's amazing, man. And I guess like and even the reason why it was so effective is because like you learned from someone. No, it's not just like theory, because yeah, there's people out there that kind of I say kind of know what I like a bit around the fears and all this shit, but like it's a different story applying it to an offer and closing at a very, very high percentage, right? Like the archetype of people you're speaking to, yeah, I think very, very few closers can really close at a high percentage on an offer like that, you know. So yeah, I mean hats off to you for like taking the advice and you know running with it. I guess the question that a lot of people want to know is like what was the change in terms of commissions earned? Obviously you basically were not making any sales, but like where did you get to position on the leaderboard? close rate? Like, tell us like tangibly what did you change? What was the
Yeah,
change?
so it's pretty much on zero
Yeah.
uh, when I came to speak to you. And I think I was going to get fired actually. So
Yeah.
that's the way I was. I was gonna get fired. I was going to resign. I think I was like, I
Yeah.
think I kind of already decided. I'd made up my mind I was going to resign. But then when I spoke to you, I was like, okay. And you actually encouraged me. You actually said, hang on, like there's potential. I was like, okay, let me continue going. And then yeah, pretty much. I think it was in my pretty much my second month. I was number one on the leaderboard, and then I was hitting 10K months. I mean, ultimately, like that's the change, right? So it was
Yeah.
like I went from pretty much I'd taken 23 calls with zero closes, and then I
Oh,
started working with you, yeah, and then I started making closes, and yeah, pretty much got to the top of my leaderboard. So it's
I think
always
you,
top two.
yeah, I think you almost hit 15, if I'm not wrong. Am I wrong? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I was close. Like in my third month, I was very close to that 15K.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like most of the closers there weren't even touching 10, right? Like most of the
yeah,
closers were,
I became, I mean, I was pretty much the top closers. Me and this other guy that were the only ones doing over 10. Other closers weren't getting close. I
yeah.
mean, their closing rates were all below 10%,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
six,
And
seven.
exactly. And like, I guess the guy underneath you, like, what was his closing percentage?
Yeah, he was like around 10%, 10,
10,
12%.
right? 10%. Like, there's for anyone listening, this is a hard offer. Like, 10% to make 10K a month, like, or whatever he was doing, like 5 or 6, right? So we got you to maybe like 20, 30, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And
100%.
that's
I mean,
like, and obviously there's more, right? But that was a very, very hard offer to
yeah, I
get.
mean, a lot of them actually, what was so interesting about it was that actually, I mean, I had to actually go above my sales manager because he actually believed, because everyone was so bad that he was actually looked quite decent compared to everyone. Everyone was so bad. Everyone was around that 6, 10% mark. So when I started coming in and changing up the processes, he was like furious. He's like, you don't know what you're doing. Like, you can't change it. I've got a working system. So when I started closing above all the rest of the closes, the sales manager was actually eventually like, okay, well, it's actually his company. He wasn't even a sales manager, it's his business. He was like, man, okay. Like, I mean, he had a lot of respect for me because I literally had to neglect what he was telling me because all the closes were so bad
Mm,
and start implementing your system. And it was
mm,
hard, man. Like, I had a lot of pushback from everyone. But in the end, I mean, the proof was in the pudding. And ultimately, as a business owner, he just wanted the result. He wanted to make as much money as possible. So
yeah,
yeah, I thought that was, I mean, that like blew my mind to like have
yeah,
this, I mean, his mind as well, to
yeah.
have someone on there like who is basically at a high, I mean, he wasn't closing himself, so I can't tell if I was ever at he always maintains he was a higher closer percentage than me. I don't necessarily know
Agree
because he
with
wasn't
that.
close when
Yeah,
I was on there. But for
yeah.
him to say like, okay, like, what are you actually doing? How are you actually doing this? And, can you help the other
He
team
was
members?
asking you.
Uh,
Interesting. He was like,
yeah,
yeah, wow. That's when you know you got some real shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's sick. And in 2 months, like that's pretty big growth from basically no skills or zero. I don't want to say no skills, but yeah, in comparison, like yeah.
100%.
So yeah, I guess if you're looking back at yourself before you got my help, like what would you tell that version of you, that was in that space? Because there's other people watching that are probably like, and obviously not everyone's going to be on a hard offer, but whatever offer you're on, there's levels. Like what advice would you give that version of yourself like back
Yeah, I
then?
would just say, yeah, hard ticket closing doesn't have to be miserable. Like, it doesn't have to be pain and
Yeah,
suffering. It can actually be good. Like, once you really understand the rules and you understand what's going on and you know what's going on in the other person's mind, it becomes a lot easier. Like, it doesn't have to be this thing of like hitting your head against the wall hundreds of times to get that close and having to keep building yourself up. Because that's kind of what I also believed. I was like, okay, just keep getting your mindset right. You just keep knocking on doors. You just keep hammering at it.
mm,
It doesn't really have to be like that. Like, once you have a certain level of skill and you actually understand what's going on, you can actually just keep refining and keep getting better. And it can actually become a pleasant experience. So I would just say, to that other version of myself is like, you just get the help. Like, it doesn't have to be like this. It can actually be something that you can actually master. It is a skill set after all. It's not just a thing of, mindset and meditating. It's also a thing of like, it's an actual skill set that you can actually learn, and it's transferable and it's learnable, and
yeah,
you'll have it for life. Like, I'll have those skills. Like, I use it in my personal life now, like in terms of understanding, what what's really going on in someone and asking questions, not just getting angry at someone and trying to combat them when they have a disagreeing worldview to you. It's like just try and get understanding and then basically coerce them through asking the right questions, really.
You
Like,
mentioned even, I remember you said it helps you even with dating too, right?
yeah.
I was gonna say game, yeah, dating, like
Yeah.
noticing
Yeah,
yourself.
there was that one concept you shared with me. Oh, and that was actually also like a mind-blowing one, was it was brilliant. I remember it was evaluation of options,
Yeah,
like
the
where they
buying
are
cycle.
in the buying cycle. So yeah, like
Yeah.
where are they in the buying cycle, which is also like, I mean, that just helps you in life in general. Like where are they, like in evaluation of options? Yeah, and I thought that was seriously.
That's some Jedi ninja shit. Like nobody fucking talks about that. Like
Yeah, yeah, that stuff was absolutely, yeah,
because now you know what happened for anyone listening, like what happens is with this concept here, which I mean, once you learn it, is you know when to objection handle and when not to, or you know what to say to get someone over the line and what not to do. It doesn't become this fight. Now it's like you're working with the prospect, you know. And as Justin said, like it's not just in sales, it's also in other areas of life, like dating and whatever. And it allows you to maneuver conversation so that you understand, okay, what to do. And this is the reason why he was consistently at the top of the leaderboard because no one does this, right? And not every offer requires it. It's usually the super hard ones that do. And that's why I only reserve it for like those that need it, you know? I've taught people to make 30, 40K a month without it. But when you know it, it's ninja shit. It
yeah,
should be illegal. Like, yeah.
yeah.
But awesome, bro. Yeah, I guess any advice for anyone listening, like overall?
Yeah, advice for someone listening is, I would just say just get this handled as fast as possible. Like don't wait around. Like this, there's just no point, because ultimately you can increase your earning potential so rapidly in such a short period of time that it makes that initial investment. Because obviously that was something that I didn't want to do, like initially. Like no one does. No one wants to spend money. You want to make money.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that amount that you invest in yourself, especially in high ticket sales, you can get it back like so quickly. Because if you invest, let's say you invest in whatever you want to invest in, right? When it comes to improving your skill, if it's a 5K one off or 10K one off, you can take your earning potential from zero, where I was, up to 10, 20, 30K a month within a very short period of time. So what feels like a painful loss, like you feel like, oh my God, I'm going to go in the whole 5K on my first month in sales. It can result in, even in your first month, making 10K. So you
Yeah.
can get it back pretty quickly. So I would just say, like, don't be one of those people to wait, because, yeah, it can cost you in the long run. Like, it can, like, I was lucky I had the mindset, because I'd been in my own agency for years. I'd always been in the
Yeah.
mindset of investing myself. So luckily I didn't wait too long. I was just like,
Yeah.
I saw what was going on. I was like, this is not going to fix itself. And I fixed it straight away. But I know some people can get to the mindset of like, let me just build up my cash, build up, and they spend five, six, seven. And that was people on my offer. I told them, get help from you. And they were like, I'm building. And they spent another 5, 6 months making 5K months, where they just invested. They could have upped their earning to 10, 15, 20K months within 4 months. Instead, they earned four. So they didn't see the opportunity cost. They actually lost out. They still probably won't see it. But I mean, ultimately, if you're earning 4K a month and you're losing out on an extra 6 to 11K a month every month that you continue doing that. So I would say, if that's
Exactly.
something, if you're taking sales seriously, just get the help. Like,
Mm.
you have to get help. Like someone who's walked the journey, they've walked the path. You need a shortcut. You can't, there's just no point. And I mean, you did that yourself. Everyone I know in sales who's good, who's making over 10K a month, got some form of help. So that's really the most important advice I would say, is get support,
Just
start
get the
investing in
help.
yourself, invest in your
Yeah.
growth, invest in your skill set, because that's what this is. It's a skill set. This is the
Mm.
same way. If you want to be a great golfer, you're going to get golf lessons. You can't just hack your way to a scratch golfer. You need help. So that's what I would tell people.
And you'd been in sales programs before? Like you had sales coaching in the past, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had sales coaching in the past. So I had been on. I mean, I've been on, like, at this point, I've been on like three different coaching programs. So I've done.
Programs. Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they were basically, yeah, business coaching, sales coaching. So I'd been through, like, that's why I didn't come to you straight away, because I actually thought I was a good closer.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I thought I was a good closer, because I was like, okay, well, I'm closing at 15, 20% of my agency. I think I kind of know what I'm doing. Yeah, and I've been on some, but it's not those coaching programs. They weren't like what I did with you. They really weren't. Those were so surface level. They were so
Mm.
basic. I think they
Yeah.
gave me a good basic structure on how to close, but they weren't teaching me how to close at 50, 60%. Like They were teaching me to close at 10%, 15, 20% in a great month. But yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah, I was on coaching programs, but nothing like
not
what
like
we
what we
I don't
did.
think there was. I don't think there was actually anything. There was almost zero. They were so different that there was almost nothing in common. Like in every single part of the process, from the
Mm,
questions in the beginning were completely different. Like they actually didn't understand. They didn't actually ever explain to me why and build with me and you built a unique question for me based on my offer. With them,
yeah,
they had like standard questions you ask everyone. They didn't explain why to ask certain questions. Like for you, you actually saw the archetype of the prospect and you built a question around that.
yeah,
The pitch as well was, it was just like they gave me a standard, like just read off this thing. And objection handling was so basic, which is why I didn't believe in objection handling, because they taught me, but it was so basic that it actually just never actually worked. So
mm,
all three aspects, from asking the questions to the pitch to the objection handling, it was completely different. And yeah, I felt that's what really helped me get to the top of the leaderboard was,
yeah,
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 something you're not just going to get on every single coaching program, sales
yeah.
coaching program.
It was really, really specific. And again, because I've seen a lot of different offers and sold a lot of different things, it's like I just gave you what I've seen worked for me to make a lot of cash and close at, upwards of like 80% sometimes. Well, really good to see your growth, firstly. I've always said, at least personally, like, yeah, I was very, very proud of the growth you had, it's night and day, honestly. Honestly, man, like it's like ridiculous. Like, so,
Yeah. No,
um,
bro, that's why I'm so grateful. And that's why, I would just tell anyone that's listening, like
yeah,
go work with Ahmed. Like get off your ass and go work with him. Like you won't regret it. It's going to be amazing for you. It's going to take you to the next level. Like, and that is from personal experience. This is from someone who went from literally, I don't know where you are right now. I don't know what you're experiencing right now. I was in literal hell. I think Ahmed can even play the voice note for you.
yeah,
I was in a world of pain, and it doesn't have to
yeah,
be that way. So I would just say, if you're listening to this, work with Ahmed. He's going to take your sales to the next level, and he's going to actually make this thing for you pleasant, and you're going to be helping the other closers on your team. So I would say, yeah, jump at it. It's going to be amazing.
awesome stuff, bro. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. And yeah, the future's bright, man. You got the skills. The doors are open. You're in different businesses now because of the money you've made. Like the door's open, Yeah, you're also a lot happier too, which is really, really good to see. So yeah, that's all for this interview, guys. Hope you guys got some value. As you can see, Justin's a normal guy, just like myself. We're not special. We're not superhumans. We just learned the skills. We put in the time. We invested in ourselves. And we just dedicated to the craft, to getting good. And hey, both at the top of the leaderboards. So, and pretty much everyone I coach gets there. So, yeah, if you want to do the same, you know what to do. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.